In this video I'm going to change some of these numbers. I'm going to have them as variables instead of, these are called hard-coded numbers because we put the actual value in. I don't want the actual value, I want to be able to change it. And the reason I want to be able to change it is because if Mario is on a different level, I may want him to start in a different place. So the first thing I'm going to do is go across to my maze, and I'm going to go to costumes, and I'm going to make sure that I've got at least 2 costumes. Now this one is called costume 1, that's not a very good name for it, so I'm going to change that to level 1, and on costume 2 I'm going to change that to level 2. Okay, so I've changed the names of my maze, so I'm going to go back to costume 1 for the Mario, and I'm going to click on Mario himself and back to the code. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create 2 variables, so I need to make a variable again, and it's just for Mario, and I'm going to call it the start X value. So it's the position along the x-axis that he's going to start, so I click OK, and I'm also going to create a variable called start on the y-axis, start y, for this sprite only. Please make sure you do that. And notice I've got these 2 labels on the screen. I don't want them. Remember, we need to take the ticks out of the boxes to do that. So this is my what happens when I press the green flag. It's going to do these 3 things, but I need now to change my values. I need to say set start X, and I need to have the X being in here minus 191, and I'm going to do the same for the Y. I'm going to have set start Y to 134. Later on I'm going to show you a different method of doing this where we can test which level we're on, but at the moment I'm just going to write this and check that it works as I want. So when I press all of these values, that's what's going to be set for X, that's what's going to be set for Y. But if I run it at the moment, it's not going to work because number 1, I need to change this. So that needs to be my start X and that needs to be my start Y. But this is in the wrong place. Because I haven't given any values to start X or start Y yet, that comes later when I run through this program. Actually, Mario's not going to work very well. There you go. He's just gone to the center of the screen. So really, and if I just pull that down out of the block and pull this go to underneath where I set my start X and Y and put that back. So instead of it being the first statement, it's the last statement. It will set X to minus 191 and Y to 134. So when I click, it goes to the start. Now I've also got it down here, minus 191, 134, and if I replace that with start X and if I replace that with start Y, then every time I hit the maze it will go back to the start. So I'm using variables to control what happens in my game. Now I did say I wanted this to control the levels, so I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call it level, but this time I'm going to put it for all sprites, because it doesn't matter which sprite we're using, whether it's the Mario, whether it's the maze, or later on the enemies, they all need to be on the same level. So I'm only going to use one variable to hold the level, and I'm going to click OK. And when I press my green flag, I'm going to say set the level to level 1. So that's the beginning. We just need to do a little bit of an edit now to make this level situation work. I'm going to move this block. I'm going to stop it first, move it out of the way, and I'm going to take the tick out of the level box so it doesn't appear on the screen. And really I want to check which level I am on. So I'm going to go to my control, and I'm going to get an if statement. And inside this if statement I'm going to put these two. Set start x to minus 191, set start y to 134. I'm going to put that back in there. So I've moved this start value out, and I'm going to have a test, and I'm going to see if the level is 1, then this is my starting position. So I need to do a test, and I'm looking for the green one. It's an operator. It needs to fit in that gap. Now I need to go and get a variable, and the variable I want is level, and I want to change that 50 to level 1. So we set the level when we press the green flag, and if the level is 1, then we set the start x and the start y to these two values, and that puts us at the start for this maze. All I need to sort of do is put the green flag on the top of that, and let's check it out. So I'm going to move Mario down a little bit just to check it out. So if I click the green flag and everything is right, he should go there. Perfect. Now I need to do the same when I go on to my second maze. Now my second maze may be in a different position. So let's go to the costumes and look on the second maze. I might want my Mario to start in this position. Notice he's kind of just touching the red here. I'm going to drag him down to this position, and he's going to have a different start position here. It's minus 189, 39. So I need to remember those numbers. So let's go back to the code, and I'm just going to pull out a go-to block so I've got the numbers. There we go. But I'm not going to use it. What I'm going to do is use another if then block, but I'm going to duplicate this one. You can rebuild it, but I'm just going to duplicate it. There we go. And I'm going to say if the level is equal to 2, then the numbers I need are minus 189 and 39. Okay, so I can now get rid of that block, and that's the job done. So at the moment, if I click the green flag, I'm setting the level to 1, so Mario will begin at the top of the screen. But if I set level to 2 and click the green flag, Mario should start here. Not only should he start here, but because we've used variables to keep going back to start x and start y, and we've given them numbers here, when Mario touches the maze, he will actually go back to that start position, not the start position on level 1. So at the moment, we've done that. If you've got a third maze or a third level or a fourth level, it's up to you. Make as many as you can and get Mario to start in different places on each of them. Don't worry about when you play the game getting to the end and switching the level at the moment. We will deal with that in a later video. But at the moment you've got the mechanism or the means, the method to actually manage the level. So for example, if you had a third maze, you would set level to 3, and you would have another duplicate here which said if level equals 3, start x equals start y equals, and that would do the job, and you'll be able to play on the maze. So That's as much as you should do for the moment. In the next video, we're going to try and have a look at a little bit more with levels and with adding 1 or 2 enemies on the screen.